Welcome back and welcome in. Round number 1 of the Apex Karting Championship Midwest Division here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. He's Brett Baldeck. I'm Jackson Lambros. Stoked to have you with us here for heat number 1. We talked about it being family matters. Brett, Chris Kuchar, Andy Kuchar on the front row. Scott Carapolati, Grant Estes on row number 2. Ethan Bacano, Ken Simonellic, his brother Kevin just behind there in P7. Nate Williams, Elliot Bacano, and Tyler Damon round out your top 10. And you get the feeling that there might be some collaboration between our two men on the front row here.
Yeah, collaboration maybe until the last lap final corner, I would say.
There you go.
After that, I think it's all gloves are off. But I've always wondered, would you wreck your family member or your brother for a win? We may find out here in this event.
Intentionally wreck, I don't know. I think give it the Charles Leclerc seal of racing incident. I believe that's already been a numerous time offense between these two, but we'll have to double check on that. But important note here, back to full 7-minute time, not worrying about the weather, not worrying about windows. We are good for full 7 minutes of racing and 2 laps of added racing action. Ready to go. 2 Kuchars on the front row. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out. Let's go racing immediately. Estes dropping the hammer from row number 2. Got Carapolati trying to go with him there. Looks like Chris able to fend off for the time being. Estes still trying on the inside there. And Brant firmly into P2 there as we work through the shark fin for the first time. One driver very wide. One of the new gens, the 474, I believe, or no, the 414. Tyler Damon off and wide.
Yeah, you can see the frustration on his face, first corner, first lap, and he's beached, basically out of contention. But he's got a second heat coming up after this, so he can get that cart back in the garage area. No damage, obviously, but the leaders are down and away. Pretty organized so far, pretty calm, organized, but I don't think it's going to stay that way the whole time.
Move for the lead. Starting to brew here from Scott Carapolati. Maybe not. Chris able to immediately mosey on through. First of the 90s and gets his way back up into P2. Going to try and catch his brother, fellow Red Speed. Out of 16, first time. Chris over Andy. It's Scott Carapolati, Ethan Bacano, Brant Estes dropping 2 spots at the start. Ultimately further back, Kenan Simonellic and Kevin Simonellic in position 6 and 7. Further back, then it's Nathan Williams, Elliot Bacano, and Kim Carapolati, who is able to get back out on track. She's 10th right now. Clean running right now.
Yeah,
and crucially, Andy and Chris going to try and go bumper to bumper, build a gap on the remainder of this field.
I was about to say, Andy and Chris, remember in qualifying, they were pretty much neck and neck, and they're showing that they still have that same type of speed here, and we're going to see if they're going to work together and try and gap themselves from Scott Carapolati, and then see if they want to make a move on those final laps. But same song, different verse here from qualifying to the heat number 1 now, as they continue to gap themselves from 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
They're back. Scott Carapolati continues to lead. 2 of the stronger drivers in the 206 category this morning. Bacano, Brant Estes. Look to the inside. Bacano trying to make that move work in the 427. Can't get there quite yet. A little bit of contact further back with Estes behind. And Andy all over the rear bumper now of Kurt. They'll work their way out of Sharkfin, back up and over the hill. As we continue to stay single file here. And again, faster karts, a little bit of a bigger gap between the drivers. Not as necessary for you to use the bumper to push the guy in front and build a gap. Definitely wouldn't hurt if you're able to do it. It is a game of trust when you're this close to the other guys out on track. Knowing you're all going to break within, the same handful of inches of one another. When you're this close to one another, Minds thinking alike at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah, like we've been seeing the Kuchar brothers already out first and second, but then this battle is pretty tight back here for third. I'm not sure if the 427 of Ethan Okano wants to make a pass there or not, or he's going to be settling there in the line. But oh, I think we have a pass for the lead here, or an attempt for a pass, I should say.
Might have. Like it's still Chris out in front of the 479, but yeah, Andy definitely was going for a look there into scoreboard, not able to make it stick. Again, now he's got to gather it back up. Chris able to now actually let that gap grow. Same for Scott over Bacano and Estes. These guys run the same body work, it looks like. I think maybe you might see the flat top nacelle for Andy there in P2. It's hard to tell because of the coloring. Definitely have that tunnel nacelle for Chris out in front. A little bit of downforce out of that, a little bit more drag in the process. Looking a little bit further back. Now it looks to be Brent Estes' turn to maybe make a move on Bacano.
Looks like he was able to make that move, and I think they're going to see, yes, position swap. So Estes up to fourth, Bacano down to fifth. And I was going to say, you can see what happens when you try to make that pass for the lead. He lost, the Kuchar brothers lost, Andy lost a couple car lengths, but actually through the infield section, he was actually able to tighten it back up a little bit. But again, it's kind of, we've been seeing this lap after lap, the first and second place able to get away, and then it's kind of a battle for third, fourth, and fifth. So all these cars pretty much set similar speeds, pretty much nose to tail, and we'll see if any passes are able to be made here in the last, I think we're going to get probably 3 or 4 more laps out of this event here today.
I'm not sure how deep the teamwork goes, but it might even be to gearing. Look at this, good exit from Estes. We'll try to go the long way around Karapalati. Working through the cell tower. Scott able to hang on, fighting that inside line. Good defense from Scott, not cracking under pressure. Crucially able to plant and launch on the inside of that double right. Fend off from these two behind.
Yeah, tough to make the outside passes work here, but he almost made it work, and if he did, that would have been a heck of a pass, but they are nose to tail, or not nose to tail, but they got a cart in between each other. Looks like a little bit of a defensive line there, as he's going to try and set up another pass here. Looks like he's been able to get it done there.
Hang on, still has the inside for the shark fin. And wow, yeah, able to fend off. Good defense from Karapalati as continues to fend off Bacano. Brent Estes further proving the importance of the draft right now. That tailwind going into I-70 certainly isn't helping. One, probably making the carts a little bit more unstable under brakes, but crucially minimizing the effect of the draft because everybody's getting that same tailwind essentially now into I-70. That means that it's actually the guy furthest back in the field that gets a little bit more of an advantage in that train. The minute you get out of that corner, all your momentum is killed. And look at this, now Bacano trying to make a move on Estes, going up and over the hill into cell tower, can't make it stick.
Meanwhile, back up front, the brothers continue to extend their lead, and we saw Andy was made an attempt at a pass earlier, and we've got 2 laps to go now. So if he's going to try and do that again, we're going to have to see that pretty soon, or the checkered flag is going to wave. But it looks like his brother Chris has a strong car out there. He's not able to close it up enough to even attempt a pass at this point.
3.2 seconds the gap from Andy to Scott Karapalati. I think now if Andy can find the pace, definitely enough insurance on track to go and make a move and potentially battle it for the lead with the fellow Kuchar. Unfortunately, we have just seen no collaboration further back from Karapalati, Estes, and Bacano. I think they knew maybe that the 2 Kuchars were going to take off and just immediately got the fangs out and battled for that bottom step on the podium. Of course, as I say that, going a little bit more nose to tail now. Karapalati more of a breakaway, but continued to see a lot of moves, especially from that middle cart in the sandwich in the form of Brant Estes, just consistently trying to chip away and make a move work on Scott. That kind of held both of them up. That's why the gap is now 4.1 seconds. A little bit of a bump from Bacano might help. We'll look to the inside again here into I-70 through the King. Again, Carapolati just able to roll all of that momentum on the outside. Like Estes drove it too deep. Bacano tried taking advantage of that. Not able to make that move stick either. So again, we'll stay status quo here with the white flag out.
You wonder, would you go ask your brother for advice if he wins this heat and say, what can I do in the second heat? I don't know if I'd give him too much information. As we see, there's a battle again for the 5th position, 4th and 5th, I should say.
Oh,
we
one
have a
cart
cart
off.
as well.
Is that one of the Kuchers? It is. Oh my
It
goodness.
is. What happened?
I believe that's
I
Chris
don't
who's
think
gone
they're
off.
close enough
What
to
has
even
gone
have a
on?
pass.
I'm not sure if that was
Wow.
a mistake or something went wrong in that red speed. The 1 minute we look off. Sparks fly between the Kuchers, but the checkered flag is out. And it is going to be Chris Kucher. Andy Kucher with drama in the 496. Promote Scott Carapolati up into P2. Brant Estes into 3rd. Then Bacano into 4th. I cannot believe it. Simon, Alex, Ken, and Kevin 5th and 6th. Wow.
You have to wonder if he just overdrove the corner maybe, or if there's maybe a little patch of water. I don't know. But that's why the checkered flag, I mean, they had a healthy lead, but you never know what's going to happen until that checkered flag waves. But what a crazy turn of events. We were not expecting that. We thought the battle was going to kind of just be kind of normal-ish to the line, and then we saw him go off track.
Right.
Here.
There you go. KA Masters 1 is already in the books. And case in point, Kuchers have their work cut out for them. Step aside for just a moment when we return. IAME Micro next from Indy.
Kyle, what are you doing?
It's got my new Greyhound seat.
You don't even have a cart.
Doesn't matter. I have a Greyhound.
Who the f is Kyle Cuthbertson? Doesn't even have a go-kart.
Doesn't matter.
Cuthbertson through on Turney. Turney in the dirt.
Let's go race.
Come on, man.
Welcome to the future of
Time to go racing for IAME Micro, and it's Kip Nouse on pole alongside James Fox. Remy Boss and Miles Hale make up row number 2. TJ Akers in the GFC alongside Jackson Sloan, row number 3. Rep Blue and Toby Blue, very blue, row number 4. Wyatt Berlesman and Tom DeLong on row number 5. Maybe one or two more after that. Nope, 10 karts for heat number 1 here. Jackson Lambros with you here. Happy to have you with us for an afternoon of KA and Swift action. Brett, if we've learned anything, I don't know, what are the takeaways there after Masters?
Well, apparently we learned that the track is dry, but the grass is still fairly wet because I guess a tire was off, and that's why we saw that spin. Is what we're being told by our crew out there. But that's what you got to be careful about, because we really had a lot of warning. Like I said, pavement is dry, but that grass is probably still fairly wet. So you definitely don't want to go off at all in any of these races.
Andy Kuchar trying to swing it wide there, I think, in the hairpin at Cell Tower. Dropped a tire. Here we go. Kip Nouse on the inside. James Fox on the outside, trying to end that reign of terror in the Briggs. We'll see if it can come to an end as we go racing here in Micro. Good start from Kip. They'll be fully clear of Fox. Get to swing it wide. A little bit of a lockup, though, going into I-70. A couple more very slow there coming out of the first right-hander hairpin. I think Sloan in the 218 checked up a smidge. It's Kip Nouse, James Fox, Miles Hale, and the magic 218 of Jackson Sloan bringing us down the hill in and out of the scoreboard hairpin for the first time.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this race because based off qualifying, these times between the top 3 were so close, and they are still, nose to tail on this first lap. So we'll see if that plays out throughout this event, but we'll see if the draft comes into play. And it looks like, Kip got a little bit wide there and hit the curb, I believe, and lost a little bit of momentum.
I think pinched it maybe a little bit on exit, realized he was swinging it too wide, then immediately cut to prevent himself from doing what we saw earlier at the end of Masters. But Fox is not making it easy right now. Another good dosage of bumper there to the back of the 266. Just like that, you've got Remy Boss. Very hard to miss, both for us and the drivers who are peeping over their shoulders. Just behind, TJ Akers mashing his head against the steering wheel, the manual DRS, to try and maximize that straight line speed and get to the front. But Kip Nouse not only looking good, but building a gap a little bit on the straightaway there, coming out of turn 16. We'll start to kind of accordion back together. The shark fin. This time, James Fox has had to really smell exhausted all today and has had to study the back of Kip Nouse.
Yeah, it looks like it accordions back together on this infield section, and James is, he's got the infield section down, it looks like. So I mentioned earlier, though, it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass, especially in these karts. You got to be a lot closer than that. So I think he's going to want to stay in line, James Fox, and see if he's able to build a run up on one of these straightaways and possibly make a move.
A lot more motivating for sure for Remy Boss, who doesn't only look like he's got the pace, he potentially could make a move here for P2 or the lead. He will not be standing by to pick up the scraps. He wants to make a move on the guy he was looking at the back of all morning long. Tried to make something work there through 16 and 17. Couldn't get it done. That gives a little more breathing room for Nouse to end lap number 2. Now purple lap goes to Remy Boss, 121.379 across the stripe. Full 10th quicker in first and second. Nouse a little bit early on turn in, trying to defend and shut the door on a late move there from Fox or Boss. What started as a 4-kart breakaway now becomes a 3-kart. And with how much you're seeing Fox on the bumper of Nouse, he really wants to make it a 2-kart.
Yeah, these guys are nose to tail. I was expecting this for this event based off of those qualifying speeds. And I'm interested to see if any of these two guys in the second and third Remy Boss or James Fox, you know, how long they wait or if they want to make their move as soon as possible.
These guys operating with a maturity far beyond their years. Again, 7 years old, pretty much. Because these guys can go in. And I believe 11 or 12 the oldest, which means you can be on the same chassis and engine system for pretty much the vast majority of your development career. Look to the inside. Remy Boss just able to get the overlap there through turn number 17. I'm not sure if Fox had to back out at all there, but nearly contact between the two of them. Gutsy move from Remy in the 288 to get up into P2.
And you saw what that did. Knaus was able to extend his lead out there. So you hope, James Fox and Remy Boss hope that they will stay nose to tail and they maybe can catch back up to the 266 in the lead. But that quick is how he was able to get away just with one pass on the straightaway there. Looks like they're working together,
you can see immediately Fox. Yep, you can see Fox doing exactly what he's done with Kip. And that's giving him the bumper right, trying to shove him, close that gap. I was going to mention this 3-kart system a little bit further back. Rhett Blue, Miles Hales, and I believe Jackson Sloan just a little bit further back in the 218, 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's a TV kart out in front there, the 299 of Rhett Blue. Nah, it's just green. Good battle further back. These guys have been pretty much bumper to bumper since we've dropped the green. And it's been a little bit of the same. Bit of reshuffling, but haven't been able to really close that gap to TJ Akers in P4, so they've just kind of battled amongst themselves, as you will. 299 very wide there. Blue going to give an opportunity for Hales to go on through. We'll pick up on that later on. But Kip Knaus has lost that gap he appreciated at the end of the last lap. Remy Boss is purple now. Fastest man on track, 120.506. A little bit of help from James Fox. Absolutely a threat to the 266.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed to do, was not fight each other for that second position, but work together to get back up to the lead. But again, now if they try to make a pass on each other again, they're going to lose that gap that they just gained back. So it's kind of just a lot that goes into the, you know, how you want to set this up. I'm glad I'm not behind the wheel, because you're trying to focus on making all these corners, but then you're trying to play the mind games of how do we pass this leader and how do we work together, and trying to make sure that you don't get overzealous and trying to make a pass from third to second and then completely fall out of contention for the win.
Good stuff here, bumper to bumper. Now it is indeed Remy Boss all over the back of Kip Knaus. Phenomenal first year here, jumping out of the kid karts, moving up to the cadets. Win earlier on this year at Quaker City, doing some club racing. Has done a handful of 206 stuff as well out in G&J. Has looked really, really strong, competing against some of the best kids at the national level. That bright orange 288 is turning and burning with the best of them.
I was going to say, Kip's been doing a good job of managing the gap. I mean, no one's gotten close enough. I don't think a pass has even been attempted yet on the lead. So, strong kart under the 266. We'll see if that holds true, if he's able to get this win. He's led all the laps so far.
Back, Rhett Blue did lose that spot to Miles Hale for P5. Now he's fending off 6th from that MPG Kart Republic. Jackson Sloan in the 218 just behind, looking for a way around over the crest there into Cell Tower. Another late look there into the hairpin of turn 11. Second and pretty much last true heavy braking zone. Only one aside from that would be the I-70 hairpin that these guys are going full song to. Timer hits 0. Twin sticks coming out. Kip Knaus, Remy Boss, James Fox battling for heat number 1. Getting as much points right off the bat. Knaus has held both of these kids off for the past 7 minutes and change. but they have grown tired of seeing this Hendrick Cars machine in front of them. Fox has given so much bumper to Boss. Has just not been able to find a way around Kip with the help. You got to ask yourself, at what point does James run out of patience? At what point does he make a move to get P2 back and say, fine, I'll do it myself?
Yeah, and these three karts are clearly the favorites and the strongest. They've gapped themselves from the whole rest of the field. I mean, fourth position is 4 seconds back, and then it's 16 seconds back to fifth, 18 to 6th, 19 to 9th, and you can see they're starting to dice it up here. It's starting to get a little bit more racy as we're going to be coming to the white flag in just a couple more corners.
Tried cutting it through 12 and 13. Kip had the momentum. Fox will help him gather it back up and get into the fight through the 90s. White flag coming out this time by Kip now flag to flag. Fox lost that spot with a move on Boss. He has been full engine that could consistently given the tap to the rear of Boss. He is sick of helping. He'll take P2 himself. Will be fully clear by the time we get to the binders in I-70. That'll be James Fox, the 212 top kart, trying to make that move on the 266.
I was about to say, what a great set of corners to be able to make that pass and close up on the leader. He's going to have a chance here.
Next big overtaking opportunity after the second shark fin here of 7 and 8. Flick to the right, over the crest, then turn 8. Now it's the long run. Fast flick, right-hander, a little bit of a lift, then back on the power through turn number 9. Another quick kink to the right here in turn 10. Boss going to try to go wide, then narrow. Ooh, good defense from Kip there. Goes middle of the track. Knew that move was coming from the top cart behind and is doing everything he can to keep it at bay. Boss looking for a look to the inside. That opened the door to Remy. He couldn't dive down, but now that immediately killed the momentum that Fox had. This is good stuff going into the 90s. Remy gonna try and fight back. He can't get there yet. Couple of corners remaining. Kip now is flag to flag. Able to turn with the best of them and take victory in heat number 1. Great battle out in front to get us started in micro.
I think Kip was looking back behind him more during that lap than he was out in front of him, but what a great job leading flag to flag, especially with James Fox and Remy Boss, mixing it up behind him.
Definitely something we'll have to talk with him about. But crucially, when you're out in front, you're doing a lot of things right. So hats off to Kip Nouse for keeping James and Remy at bay. TJ Akers kind of on an island there, had to settle for P4 behind the wheel of the Magic. Miles Hale, Rep Blue, Jackson Sloan, Wyatt Brolsman, Toby Blue, Tom DeLong. That's your field after Heat 1. It be the big show. KA Senior out on track. Let's meet him. Isaac Malkit, Ike on pole. In the 970 will be alongside AEM's Mick Gabriel. Wrigley Keys for Nash Motorsports alongside Aiden Lorenko in the 929. That's row number 2. Chris McKeithen in the 995 alongside Ian Quinn for row 3. Landon Boer, Eli Ware, and Wyatt Leslie and Adam Maxwell round out your top 10. A little bit further back, Addison Iannello looked very strong this morning on the four-cycle stuff. He's P11. Dylan White in 12th. Mason Surgeoner, again, very strong Briggs racer from this morning. Mason Galen alongside him in row number 7. Row 8, Lucian Laser, David Baker. Row 9, Alex Alusco. Levi Getz with Mason Ward. Elijah Skaggs in P20. Last group here, Ben Lyda, Barstos Bazinski, Miles Fodry, Macy Galen, Tyler Sims, and Colin Flynn in P26. Felix Catch, starting from the back of the field, will be joining us tomorrow morning. Jackson Lambros, Brett Baldeck with you here in the broadcast booth. Brett, first big field we're seeing here for the KAs. What are we expecting?
I'd say based off of what we saw this morning, turn 1, 2, and 3 right off the start. They go 2 and 3 wide. It's going to be wild with this many karts out there. But it's dry now at least, so it hopefully would make it a little bit easier. We'll see how it all plays out.
Could be a good show. One of the most promising young talents in the form of Isaac Malkit leading us to green here out of turn 16. A lot of big names to get us started here in the Midwest for KA Senior, but who is going to come out on top? To the tram lines and to the cones, MDR versus AEM on the front row. We're green for KA Senior. Great start to the inside as that Nash machine, Wrigley Keys, helping Isaac Malkit get out of I-70 scotch-free. We will all be pointed the right way, it would seem, coming out of I-70 into the shark fin for the first time. Oh, minute I say that, though, a little bit of a stack up further back. I think McKeithen ramping up over the back of Quinn. But we stay clean and green. Working over the hill into the scoreboard. Wrigley Keys dropping back to P3, it looks like. You can see how much of these guys are so slowed coming out of the scoreboard corner there.
I was going to say, I think we had a cart either go around or stall there, but they kept it clean. They bounced wheels, and they were able to keep it clean through those corners. But, wow, what intense racing right off the start. You got to get all you can get on these starts for this series.
Tyler Sims in the 906, who we saw parked on the inside of the hairpin there, but scorching start here for Ike in the 970. To be Mick Gabriel giving chase further back. The 934. Not sure where Wrigley Keys ended up further back. That's P4 further back. It's one of the steals, I believe. It is indeed. Ian Quinn up 3 positions from the whole shot, P6 to P3. Good moves there from the 986.
Looks like things finally get. Oh, I was about to say they're getting organized, but we see one car off. Try to get a number on
That's
that.
Riggs.
That looks like it's the.
Wrigley Keys.
He lost a ton of positions by just going through the grass.
Oh, Buell almost driving Surgeoner, I believe, into the grass there, going into scoreboard. We finally are working out of the side-by-side racing, going into single file. And Mick Gabriel going to try and pedal and close that gap to Isaac Malkit. Franco losing, I believe, 3 positions from the start, trying to gather it back up. That's Chris McKeithen now in front of him. That lone coyote trying to swing back. And the wheel of that Mike Doty racing machine, the LN kart. Need to go back and see what actually happened there between Quinn and Keys. I'm not sure if there was contact coming out of I-70, if they locked wheels and Briggs got launched. He's obviously able to keep it going again full song, but regardless, Keys, I believe, now on the bumper of the alongside the top 10. We'll have to see. Look at this. Isaac Malkit, 7 tenths, nearly 8 tenths between himself and P2 in the form of Mick Gabriel. He's all the way down to P14 behind Alex Alusco and Dylan White. He's got his work cut out for him.
I think what we're seeing in this heat race for these KA seniors is just how important qualifying was, because the top guys or the top 5, they were able to get their way cleanly, but if you qualified 5th on back, I feel like you were stuck in that mess off the start. So qualifying's so important, especially at this racetrack. Always important, but with the 18 turns here, especially the 2 tight ones right off the bat, you really want to qualify well, get a good heat starting position this weekend.
Yeah, we talked about the importance in qualifying, right? Being able to break away from that mid-pack melee and, you know, be able to be a part of that dual or 3-way fight for the lead out in front, because you're in the same boat as everybody else. The minute you get out of, you know, P5, they want to be a part of that conversation out in front, but everybody's clawing that same position on track, that same piece of real estate. That pretty much checks everybody up. The good news is you can still pedal forward. And we see it there in that huge caterpillar of maybe 5 or 6 carts just behind Ian Quinn right here. McKeithen all the way back, I believe, to the GFC, the 920. Landon Buer trying to pedal out to the front, but crucially here, Quinn on his way, trying to make his way into this 3-way fight.
Yeah, Quinn was using all of the racetrack a couple corners ago, got a little bit off and saw the dust fly up, but he wants to stay in front of this line or caterpillar, I would say, of carts, because once they catch him, he's going to be ate up. He could get past easily and drop back almost as far as, let's see, probably 9th or 10th, probably 10th or 9th, I should say. And he's trying to keep a pretty wheel, though, because he wants to try and get back up to 2nd and 1st place. Looks like he's catching slightly on our 2nd place position of Nick Gabriel.
Again, to forget a couple weeks back for and Quinn back at Stars Queen City Gambit, not able to find his way into the top 10 in what we would argue to be one of the more fierce KA100 fields right now on the national stage. He's definitely finding himself in conversation right about now. He's found the rear of Mick Gabriel. First true on-track duel we have found. Is there going to be any cooperation there? Because if they go bumper to bumper, I'm not sure if you can maybe close a 2-second gap in 2.5 minutes or so. We'll see. A little bit further back on track, Eli Warren, Addison Iannello, I believe Mason Surgeon are there going bumper to bumper. They're trying to get into the mix as well. As soon as that timer hits 0, as soon as the twin sticks come out, gloves are going to come off. People are going to want whatever position they can find.
Our leader, yeah, has checked out. So if you're Ian Quinn, do you want to stay in line or do you want to try and make this pass for a second, especially if you believe you're quicker? But he hasn't been able to close the gap compared to what we see right here on our screen for 4th and 5th. They have closed the gap. They are staying nose to tail. They hope that they can catch up to the 2nd and 3rd place drivers.
That is Aiden Lorenko. The hot suit with the GFC. Chris McKeithen giving him plenty of pushes there through I-70. Move for P2 potentially. Yes! Ian Quinn fully clear of Mick Gabriel for P2. 40 seconds on the clock. How's that clean air going to be for the nose of that Burrell stealth machine? Will Mick Gabriel want to help him and maybe push them to the front, or is he going to try and swing back immediately?
I saw some dust in the air, almost as if Mick Gabriel maybe got off track briefly, and that's how Ian Quinn was able to make that pass, because you can see Mick let him, he got by, but he's right on his tail. So we'll see if Mick wants to take the 2nd place position back.
Just behind another duet of drivers further back, the form of McKeithen and Eli Warren there in the 997. And that could very quickly become a 4-cart battle, especially with this. Gabriel trying to swing back on Quinn. Won't make it stick. Little bit of contact there coming through turn 15. He is wheeling that thing to try and stay ahead.
There's that second
Quinn sticks coming out.
on
It is a
too.
5-cart battle for everyone on back.
Wow, that really
Here we
brought
go.
that
Ian
second
Quinn
pack
gonna
in real
go
quickly as
into
they
the inside
continue to
on the
dice it up.
fighters. Really good battle here. Ian Quinn, Eli Warren, Chris McKeithen, and now Addison Iannello further back, P6 in the 929. You go all the way back to Wrigley Keys, ultimately finding it in the mix. Big checkup. What's happened to Eli Warren? He's lost 3 or 4 positions up and over the hill. And oh my goodness, rain We are being told the skies have opened up here at Newcastle. And
Oh,
Grip's trying
my.
to come away from the track. Unbelievable. Everybody immediately slowing up. And this immediately shakes things up out on track. Look at the opposite lock we're seeing from Mick Gabriel right now, trying to hold these guys off.
What a turn of events. They're almost like you need a meteorologist on your team this weekend. There's the radar right there, right on cue as I say that. Just scattered showers in the area, so you really have to keep that in consideration. But I don't know how long the shower is going to last. You can see the pavement is still a gray light color, but any type of moisture has really tightened up this battle for second on back through ninth.
Warren nearly chopping the nose off of Mick Gabriel there. As now McKeithen goes through, gives the bumper a little bit there to Eli. Gabriel trying to go through with him. Quick spurt of rain, not sure if it's still going, so hard to tell from our vantage point. Oh, look at this, Mick Gabriel trying to muscle through, one cart off further back, Ivi Lorenko going off in the 929. Now Chris McKeithen gonna jam it up the inside of the scoreboard corner.
Wow.
Gabriel gonna try and cross him up, has the exit, will stay side by side going up and over the hill. Who's gonna give it up? McKeithen finally backs off, gets Warren up back into P2.
Our leader is just
What a-
still out there for 4 seconds. These guys are really dicing it up. What intense action we have for these podium positions. We'll see if they're able to gain any more. There is your leader all by himself, missing all the action back there. Just what he wants to see. Clear racetrack as he comes around here for the final on this final lap.
Bold and boring in heat number one, just the way Ike likes it. Checkered flag out, 970 is number one in heat number one. Who's going to win this melee further back? Everybody sliding out of turn 16. McKeithen on top, but Surgeoner and Bone Laser getting a really big piece of it. And they drop back significantly at the end. But oh my goodness, Ian Quinn, best of the rest and first of the line. Nat Stealth, Burrell, Chris McKeithen in the Coyote. P3, Mick Gabriel, Addison Ianello. Round out your top 5. How about that?
Make 4th. The turn of events that we saw once we saw some of the rain begin to fall. What a wild last couple laps there. All because a few raindrops. Amazing stuff.
Sometimes all you need. And I think the best part is it's not like we were starving for racing action before the rain fell, but it was definitely adding a little bit of fuel to the fire and definitely letting us know that this is something we are absolutely having our radar on, both the weather and KA Senior. Take a breather. We'll come back in just a moment. IAME Mini on deck.
Welcome to the future of kart race preparation. Kart Sim Pro North America. Featuring laser-scanned North American kart circuits and precision-tuned kart physics developed using real telemetry, dyno and tyre data, Kart Sim Pro North America delivers the most advanced and realistic kart simulation experience available today. Whether you're training for race day, refining your lines, or shaving tenths off your personal best, Kart Sim Pro gives you pro-level insight without leaving your home. Trusted by world champions, coaches, and karting enthusiasts alike, this is where virtual practice translates into real-world performance. Experience the thrill, the challenge, and the edge. Kart Sim Pro North America. Use code CHASER20 to get 20% off today.
First heat for IAME Mini Swift. Hudson Howard on pole will be alongside Slate Harrell. Another very close qualifying result there. 6,000 separating our front row. Evan Leish in the 107 and Anderson Hemphill make up row number 2. Silas Johnson and Bo Laser make up row number 3. Light Simon Ellick, Ruben Greer on row 4. Maddox Carlucci and Caden Taruno round out your top 10. We've got one more driver after that. Oh my goodness. One around there coming out of the second shark fin. Want to say that's not Ruben Greer. That might be Silas Johnson in the 127. Oh no.
With the 124
out of the cart. It is.
Yes, 124 of
Anderson Hemphill.
Now, it looks like, I mean, maybe the track was wet. I was watching, it just looks like maybe he caught the grass. I'm not quite sure. But, I mean, if you're going to have it happen, I guess, on the parade lap, because,
Oh, and more. Oh my gosh. That is absolutely Bo Laser. Oh my goodness. So 2 carts out.
No.
It is still definitely a little bit damp out on track following the little sprinkle we got earlier on. And
not
Bo
sure if that's
Laser,
mechanical on this part or not.
have to see. He's trying to get back in the cart, but
Looks like they're going to get
crucially, a
started
lot of
though
our
without
kids
him.
not able to get back in line there after the commitment cone. But here we go. Howard on pole, Slate Harrell alongside him. As we get to the punch-off cone, hand is up in the air for Slate Harrell. We're ready to go racing. We've got the green. We're underway for IAME Mini. Good start once again for Harrell. Immediately sends him down to the paint into I-70. Little bit of a wiggle from a few carts further back, trying to get back on power, coming out of turn 1. Harrell, and it looks like Evan Leish making a spot or two there. Stay clean and green, working out of the first shark fin to the hairpin. And looks like further back, that is Taruno in the Sodi. Just trying to tiptoe back on the gas. Crucially, Brett, Hudson Howard up and away.
Yeah, Hudson Howard missing all that action that we saw before the green even flew, but he's got company there in second place. Those two have been able to get out in front of the rest of the field. That's Slate Harrell, so not really surprising given the speeds that we saw out of both of these carts in qualifying.
Oh, look to the inside here. Slate Harrell tried to make it stick there through the left-hander. Now we'll try crossing him up again, coming out of cell tower into the 90s. Good defense there from Hudson Howard. Saw he was alongside, knew the inside was going to become the outside. And he keep that going. Slate going to continue to swing at him. Couple of Kart Republic cadets going at it here. Beating the bumper to Harrell. As Howard gets a little bit of a push there coming out of turn 16. He says, if I'm not going to pass you, I'll definitely push you, because we've got Johnson, Taruno, Leish further back. Let's at least give ourselves a little bit of insurance here before we battle.
Yeah, I thought Slate Harrell was going to try and make a pass on the high side there, but looks like he just wanted to try to get a better run off. But these two have gotten themselves out to over a 1.5 second lead over our third place of the 127 of Silas Johnston. But like I said, these were the two in qualifying that were really the class of the field, only separated by 6 1,000ths, I believe, of a second. So not surprising to see two of them pull away, but Hudson Howard is looking to put a gap now on that second position of Slate Harrell.
Being told now that the rain has indeed calmed down, but crucially, the hard work from everybody to dry the track this morning by going out and running has been set aside just a little bit now, as it's definitely a little bit damp on track. Nothing that's going to kill these guys, but definitely a little bit of a reset button, if you will. This is Maddox Carlucci, Ruben Greer, Light Simon Ellick, and Evan Leish further back right now. Fifth, pretty much back to P8. Lone Nash Motorsports machine, an Energy Corsa coming out there trying to fend off from the 120, Ruben Greer. New Gen machine, good run here coming out of turn 16. Is he able to make a move? Oh, look at this further back. That's Anderson Hemphill. It is in the 124 making a recovery drive. How about that?
This is a hornet's nest of cars here that are all battling for position. This is kind of what I was expecting to see all morning and afternoon long was a pack of karts like this, especially in the minis, and they are putting on a show back here between third and I believe that's ninth place, all in a row there.
It quite literally is. Howard, Slate, Harrell, maybe a 15 kart gap, and then it is everyone pretty much back to Anderson Hemphill in P9. This is good stuff. But again, really good recovery drive there from Anderson Hemphill. That blue 124. You see a couple of moves as well. I believe that is indeed Greer able to make that move on Carlucci and that kind of teal Baja Blast Nash Motorsports machine. Another look to the inside there as Leish tries to make a move on Taruno. PG, no, but now Greer gets another one. New Gen's rising star showing us how to get it done. 2 spots in 1 lap. Now puts the Sodi up next on the menu.
Yeah, great battling back here. Clean racing too. No nose to nose or tire to tire action. So again, just like I said this morning with the drivers that were racing in the rain, they're learning a lot racing like this. What a battle.
Like Johnson's still going to somehow lead him. That's followed by now Evan Leish up into 4th. Aiden Taruno holding on to 5th. Ruben Greer was really swinging there to try and make a couple more spots. Taruno was able to swing back. And crucially, Evan Leish then got another handful as a result. Still getting dicey further back. Hemphill now trying to swing on the inside of Leish. Carlucci all the way back to P9 now, I believe. So major reshuffle further back in the field. Now our group of 8 starts to split in 2.
Yeah, the longer we run, I think the more spread out they're getting, and you guys are not missing anything up front. Hudson Howard continues to lead Slate Harrell. This clearly the best battle that we have on the racetrack right now. And I can't keep up with how many passes or attempt at passes that they've been making with this group here behind Slate Harrell and Hudson Howard.
Another good run here for Hemphill. A little bit of help from Greer. Tap of the bumper. See if he'll do anything. Same for Leish. Big overtaking move late on the exit there. Leish tried to get the launch on the exit of I-70. Now it's Greer's turn. Tries it on the inside of Hemphill into Sharkfin. Side by side. Long way around for the new gen. We'll have to back out of it and get back behind Hemphill. A lot of kids trying moves, but on the lower speed corners, it's hard to find that momentum coming out of the corners.
Yeah, there's definitely places here that I think that are super hard to pass. We've seen some people try to do, some drivers try to make some passes on the outside. We have not seen the outside work all day today, so if you want to make a pass, you're going to have to do it, set it up for an inside pass on one of these passing zones. Again, 18 corners, so there's plenty of passing zones. You just have to make sure that you are set up for the pass. As you can see, they continue to mix it up, but a lot of them continue to be nose to tail, trying to see, as I said, if they can set up a good run down one of these straightaways.
Hemphill tried to make another move on Taruno there in the run into the turn 11 hairpin at the cell tower, backed out of it. And fortunately, Greer just behind in the 120, giving him just a big enough gap to slot back in. Timer about to hit 0. We'll get the twin sticks coming out next time by. Leish trying to make a move on Johnson. 5 or 6 cars now behind that. Sodi. Here's Hemphill to the inside. Will be fully ahead. Greer trying to go with him. Handful of spots lost there for the Sodi. Crucially now, that's the MPG out in front. Now big pace loss for Johnson. Hemphill gonna try and go with him at Sharkfin. Will nearly get there. GFC nearly in the grass now as Johnson tries to swing back. Carlucci with the good run coming into scoreboard. Greer makes it 3 wide on exit. We again constantly reshuffle here. And this fur ball for the best of the rest. Big losses there for the GFC, big losses for the Sodi.
3 wide normally doesn't work no matter what karting or track you're on, but these mini drivers were somehow able to make it work. But they know that they're going to get the 2 laps to go coming back this time around, so they know time is running out. Now is the time you can get all you need to get, as they are still packed together. You could definitely go from the back of the pack up to at least 5th or 4th position, as I believe this is the battle for the lead, as this is beginning to heat up as well now too.
Twin sticks this time by, and the 2 Kart Republics going at it. Howard defending on the inside will force the long way around from Slate. Thought about backing into him. And now trying to walk the tightrope on the outside of I-70. Hudson Howard in the grass there as they try to cross it up going into Shark Fin. Howard able to hang on, but for how much longer? Late lunge there, and another cross-up attempt outside of the Shark Fin. Look at this launch from Slate Harrell. Slingshot coming out of the Shark Fin to take the lead.
You have to wonder if the handling's going to weigh on Hudson Howard's kart, because he led all lap. Well, there it goes back to the lead, so scratch that. These guys are just dicing it up here. Again, in qualifying, they were so close on time. So they're both going to be the battling for the win here. Looks like this is going to continue probably through the last lap into the checkered flag.
Late apex attempt there from the 188 of Harrell, trying to get as much of a launch as possible to get a run. And the 90s here coming out of turn number 12 is going to be the place he's going to have to do it. Howard knows that, trying to force him the long way around into the right-hander. Couple of corners left, couple of opportunities for Harrell. He's going to need a monster run in that 188. He might have it. He's all over the bumper of Hudson coming out of the final corner. They're going to drag race to the line. Hudson versus Harrell. Does he have enough? No. Hudson Howard, by just a hair over a 10th, gets victory. Or no, we'll do it one more time. Oh my goodness. We get to do that for another lap? Heck yeah. Hudson Howard still leading Harrell. I thought that was it. We get to do this for another lap.
This is the last lap right here. It's far from over. He's going to try to make him go on the high side, but as I mentioned earlier, we haven't seen a pass on the high side work all morning or all afternoon. Here he goes down on the, I thought he was going on the inside there, but this is not going to be, look for the last two corners for Slate Harrell to try and make a move here.
Error right
He is there.
Are going to be paramount. This could be it. Trying that crossover again, that late apex coming out of the turn 11 hairpin into the double lefts of 12 and 13, and now coming out of 14. Howard looking over his shoulder. He knows that fellow Kart Republic is all over his rear bumper, just trying to figure out where he's going to put it. He just decides to go middle of the racetrack. Harrell looking to the outside again, trying to find any place he can find momentum, any place he can cross him up. Goes to the inside. There could be an overlap. He's going to send it into 16. They're going to drag race coming out of the line. Howard into the grass. They'll go for the line. And just barely by 900ths, Hudson Howard taking victory.
Slate Harrell tried everything to set up a pass on those final two corners. Hudson Howard in the grass, in the mud, still able to take that win by just a half a go-kart length there. What a finish.
Minis never failing to disappoint us. Silas Johnson in the GFC able to get that bottom spot on the podium. Evan Leash fends off Ruben Greer. Anderson Hemphill recovers after that early race drama to bring it home P6. Maddox Carlucci, the Northwest kid in P7. Light Simonella, Caden Taruno, Caitlin Daly round out your top 10. Starting to wrap up our first round of heats here. K.A. Jr. on deck here at Newcastle. Heat number 1 for KA Jr., and it's Cam Johnson in the National Motorsports EOS on pole. Ben Gloverman in the 863. Ryan Perry Motorsports round out your first row. Darren Kidd, Easton Kabinski on row 2. Chris Utzi and Dom Gaddis on row 3. Jacob Scheibel, Alex Kuchar, Kalen Berghofer, and Ezekiel Height round out your top 10. Got a lot of big rising names here. Great mix of local talent as well as national level talent. Fashion heads here: AJ Stoner, Dan Dragonov, Jordan Lepine, Andrew Avalos, Juju Siva Kumar, Jet Price, Rhett Johnson, and Richard Rosinski round out your field of 18. Cam Johnson has not had a weekend outside of the go-kart, it would seem like, and he has been racing everywhere. Champions of the Future, SCUSA Pro Kart Challenge, pretty much every major national event. He has been there with one goal: to win. He's gotten 2 already under his belt, and the quest for win number 3 starts right here as we go green for KA Jr. Good start and a good push from Gleberman there, as it actually looks like Darren Kidd in the 869 was able to go around the outside and lock it down for P2. The shark fin for first time. Gleberman able to patch it up in P3. Then a couple of the new gens making moves. I believe Gaddis and Height trying to make moves. 412 would seem. Really good racecraft here, Brett.
Yeah, I was about to say, everyone threw those first 2 corners cleanly, all in a single file line as they go down this straightaway and this little kink here into this next corner. But you can see our top 3 breaking away just slightly, but Cameron Johnson at the helm right now, but looks like he's going to have plenty of company with the 863 and the 869 of Darren Kidd. But what an easy kart to spot. Cameron Johnson out there in front. I believe you called it Baja Blast Blue, and it's leading right now here at Newcastle Motorsports Park.
RPG colors are cotton candy. If you're red and yellow, I call you McDonald's. Food on my mind a lot when I'm on the air. First lap in the books, Cam Johnson, P1. Darren Kidd goes purple. The 121.017. Starting to be a 3-car breakaway. Easton Kabinski kind of on his own right now. And it's Yautzi, Gaddis, Berghofer, Jacob Schleib, AJ Stoner, and Ezekiel Hunt rounding out your top 10. And for Darren Kidd, you're going to play this game. Do you want to make a move early on and potentially bring the whole field into this, or do you just kind of sit idly by? Hope you get a little bit of help from Ben Gleberman behind there in that RPM machine. The strat here for the 869.
Yeah, I would. If I was Darren Kidd, I would want to stay in line, because you can see he's got 3rd place on his tail. So if he gets past or gets in the high line, he could lose a couple of positions, maybe as far back as 5th or 6th. So that's just my advice, but we'll see how it all shakes out. I'm not out there for a reason. I'm here in the booth for a reason, but they could continue to stay single file here as we complete another lap. Still 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go before we add the 2 laps. As we see, there we go, a pass for 2nd place.
Gleberman making that move stick there for P2. And that'll push back, and that'll also bring Easton Kabinski further back there in the 820 into the mix. Just went purple last time by. Again, finally getting the advantage of the 3 karts in front, punching a hole in this Indiana air, this thick Indiana air for him. And you can call it a quartet now going at it for the lead, but no one really wanting to make a move just yet, because again, you've got Gaddis, Utsi, Scheibel, Height and company further behind. You want to bring as few people to the party as possible before you dance for the top spot. But again, the last thing any of these guys want is to see Cam Johnson build a gap. And with 3.5 minutes on the clock, that is exactly what the 810's looking to do.
Yeah, I was watching Cam Johnson go into the corners. He's driving it in deep, and it's obviously working for him as he's able to hold the lead and continue to get a slight gap on the rest of it. But 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are still right there, as we can see. I thought we were about to see a battle for 4th, but there you can see 2nd place right on the tail of Cameron Johnson.
Darren Kidd, Kabinski, and then about 4 kart lengths separating this portent. As, ooh, a lot of bumper there further back from Kabinski to Kidd. That 820, actually, I think Kabinski was indeed able to make that move. So Kabinski up into P3 will cycle Darren Kidd all the way back to P4 now. And indeed, Kalen Berghofer slowly but surely getting closer. Another purple lap for him, about half a tenth up from the remainder of this pack out in front. But that's all he really needs to get into the mix. Then you've got, obviously, Dominic Gaddis, Christopher Yutzi. Shockingly here, it seems like at the rate everybody's running, this field could naturally gather back up and kind of accordion together. It's very possible if no one really brings the fight to Cam Johnson. More than possible here. We have a 10-kart battle for the lead when the twin sticks come out.
Yeah, looking at our scoring, it doesn't look like there's been very big movers in the field other than Kalen Berghofer. He's up 4, but that's the highest. Oh, as we see, there's the pass for the lead as I was saying that. What's wrong
Johnson
with
bleeds
Cam
off
Johnson?
speed
Did something
big
happen
time.
to
They're
his
all the way down
partner?
to P4. Oh, swings it back though. There it goes. Gloverman up into the lead. Now Darren Kidd trying to make that move on Cam. It is absolutely 5. We could go all the way up to 7 here with Gaddis and Yutzi just joining the fray here further back. But Cameron Johnson had to really chop the wheel there to make sure he kept it out of the grass. That killed a lot of momentum, and crucially, it's given Gloverman and Kabinski a chance to potentially break away.
Yeah, I thought he's lost so much speed, Cam Johnson in the 810, that I thought something was wrong with the kart. But as you said, he just lost so much momentum because he wanted to stay on the racetrack, not get any wheels off in that wet grass. But he's back to 3rd, still in contention. Needs to gather himself back up, and he can easily. This still is in his hands. He could still win this race. Anyone, I think, between 1st and 8th or 1st and 7th, I think, have a chance here.
Now it's Darren Kidd on the defensive right now, fending off from Yutzi and Gaddis. Yutzi in the Burrell just a little bit further back. Gaddis in that MPG Kart Republic. We'll stay status quo through I-70. Cam Johnson trying to make a move into the shark fin. Goes to the outside, trying to make it a move potentially there on Kabinski. Was able to get it, actually. Made a move on the 826 for P3. There's been a major reshuffle, though. Gloverman dropping back that RPM to P4. Now I believe Kabinski your leader. He is.
Yeah, Cam Johnson's got a strong kart there. He has something to prove. Definitely wants to get back to the lead. They're going to come around this lap and get the 2 to go. But he is there. But he's also got company in 3rd place. This is anyone's race.
Big nudge further back there from Berghofer just behind. That actually kind of pool-shotted Kabinski even further there as we head into the 90s. We got to go all the way back. It could be P7. Dom Gaddis in contention. Clock hit 0. Twin sticks coming out this time by Kabinski, Cam Johnson, Kalen Berghofer, Darren Kidd. It is anyone's game to play here. Cam Johnson would very much like that lead back into I-70. Takes a look to the inside, wants to get it done on the binders. Fully clear. Kabinski gonna try and cross him up, not able to get there. Into the shark fin. Berghofer, Gloverman, Kidd on the scene further back. Anyone trying to make a move here, not able to cross up just yet. Again, now it's the waiting game. Little lunge to the outside from Berghofer. That MDR LN kart, does he have enough momentum over the hill? He does. He moves up into P2. We'll draw Berghofer up into P3. Cam Johnson a point forward, trying to find anyone to work with. Here comes Kabinski trying to swing back now. Into the cell tower hairpin. It is getting dicey out in front in all of this white lining, all of this defending. That has brought pretty much the top 10 into the mix here for victory in Heat 1.
I was going to say the top 10 is just covered up on this racetrack as they continue to make passes. We have a new 3rd place driver back there. Oh, 869 goes into 3rd place. That's Darren Kidd. So he's making a comeback as we're about to get the white flag.
1 lap, 1 mile to go. Kabinski and Johnson. And Kabinski's still pointing forward. He's saying, stop defending, stay on the white line. I'm not going to push you. Or I'm not going to pass you. I'm going to push you. And believe it or not, it is building just a little bit of insurance now over Darren Kidd and Kalen Berghofer. These guys have ran out of patience further back, trying to make moves through the shark fin into scoreboard. Look at this. Cameron Johnson now with a breakaway coming over the hill. Can he keep that momentum? Can Kabinski hold off from Darren Kidd now? Through the tight and technical cell tower section for the final time here in heat number 1. What a show we've been treated to here for these KA juniors for heat number 1. But ultimately, the guy who was on pole is looking to be the first one back to the checkered. In the form of Cameron Johnson, they'll duke it out further back. Kabinski losing that spot. Kalen Berghofer gaining 2 now, coming to the 90s. There is so much carnage here, so much passing, it's hard to keep up, but one thing we know is this dude who's on top, Cam Johnson, out of 16, will go flag. The flag will take victory in heat number 1.
What a pack of cars that was coming across the line, first through 10, separated by just about 2.5 seconds. And wow, they still have a whole nother heat to race in about, I would say, an hour or so, 30, 45 minutes. So looking forward to see that heat as well. What a race. 100cc
racing at its very best. I need a second to gather my breath. I reckon Brett needs the same here. We'll step aside for just a moment. But when we return, we go back to the top of the order with heat number 2 of KA Masters coming up.
Hi, I'm Jackson with Alpha Race Hub. Alpha is an all-in-one motorsports software solution that can solve all the software problems you need for your track, facility, or series. Alpha can cover all your software bases, from online registration, digital e-waivers, a proprietary timing and scoring software, incident management, automated points tabulation, tire and barcode scanning. We even have our own mobile timing app and rental cart activity management software. If you're looking to consolidate your motorsports software solutions, reach out to us at alphatiming.co.uk.
Cat food marketing. $9.99 a month.
Dude, Caleb, wake up. Dude, we're live in 5 minutes. Let's go, come on. What are you doing?
Dude, I'm so sorry. Xander had me in a cat food marketing meeting till like 2 a.m. last night.
Come on, man.
Do you have anything I can drink?
Dude, I got the perfect thing for you. Perico, it's a healthy energy drink alternative.
Perico, non-GMO, gluten-free, kosher, magnesium, B12, B6,
Yeah, it's good.
B5, biotin, and 0 sugar? Pericazo! Try Perico, made with natural ingredients, organic caffeine, and supports your metabolism. Try the new official energy drink of Kart Chaser.
Hey guys, another Kart Chaser driver fitness episode with me, Chris G. Today, I'm going to show you how to protect those ribs in the seat. We're doing core. Exercise number 1 is the bench leg raise. Controlled all the way down, full range of motion. Make sure you pick up that tailbone off the pad. Coming down, controlling. Great for the lower abdomen area and obliques. Floor slider mountain climbers, exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, the plate-loaded decline bench sit-up. I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chris G Coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do.
Macron Motorsports builds champions every day, drivers who won on the world stage. The Tillotson T4 Series is pure spec racing. Same engine, same chassis. When you win, it's because you were the best that day. Your edge is not the kart. It's the setup, the strategy, and the race team. With our Arrive and Drive program, you simply bring your gear, we provide the equipment and the championship winning support to every event. Stop wrenching, start racing. Your path to the T4 Nations Cup in Spain starts with us. For more information, contact us at macromotorsports.net.
Welcome back, Newcastle Motorsports Park. Apex Midwest Division round number 1. Back to the top of the order for the final round. Saturday, he's Brett Baldeck. I'm Jackson Lambros. Happy to have you with us here for the season opener for Apex's Midwest Division. Family matters, as always, here in KA Masters. Chris and Andy Kuchar get to lead us off from green again. A little bit of drama, though, from Andy, Brett. That gave Chris the win in Heat 1.
Yeah, we believe Andy had a tire go off into the wet grass and sent him around. And I believe that was on the final lap or 2 to go. And really was not expected because Andy and Chris are the class of the field. We'll see if they are able to hold that right or that win here in this heat number 2.
Scott Carapolati, Brandon Estes, and Ethan Bacano also essentially bumper to bumper just behind from 3rd to 5th. They roll off same spots as they finish there for heat number 1. Ken Simonellic and Kevin Simonellic, 6th and 7th. Nate Williams, Elliot Bacano, and Tyler Damon rounding out your top 10. Crucially there with that wheel drop, the moisture there did not help as Kim Caporelli rounds out your field of 11. But with the amount of rain we've gotten again, another quick spurt, then obviously potentially even another one here recently that can make this even more of a tightrope as we get ready to go back to racing. Which Kuchar is going to come out on top on heat number 2? Can anyone else bring the fight to the 2 red speeds out in front? Let's find out. Let's go racing for heat number 2 for KA Masters. Kuchar's got the good start once again. Estes trying to shove along and lock it in for P3, but it's a good fight back from Andy on the high line. They'll drag race coming out of I-70 and into the shark fin for the first time. Estes not able to get there. Andy slots in P2.
Yeah, just like we saw in the first heat, the 2 Kuchar brothers, 1 and 2, able to get out to that lead. Now we'll see if they're able to create that gap that they created in the first heat. They were able to get up, I believe, into at least 5 seconds in front of the rest of the field, 3 to 5 seconds. So they're off to a good start. We're not even 1 lap in.
Looks like further back, Ethan Bacano already getting at it there with Ken Simonellic. Caraporelli leading the both of them. The cell tower for the first time. It looks like we, knock on wood here, looking at weather, I think we're finally fully clear of moisture being a threat for the evening. Again, should have another, maybe a little bit of a burst tomorrow morning, but that should hopefully be before we have any on-track action. Just a little bit of work cut out for these guys to try and clear that out. Chris Kuchar first to the line. Ethan Bacano drops 3 positions from the whole shot there, but goes purple on lap number 1. Yeah, they go 2 wide, and it is indeed actually Andy taking the lead for the first time, and the 2 Kuchars swap positions.
Andy had a nice run coming down the front stretch and was able to take that run and create a pass out of it going into that first corner. So put Andy up on top and gapping his brother slightly. So don't know if they made any changes to the kart in between those sessions, but maybe Andy has a little bit to prove after what happened in the first heat and him going off course.
So Chris and Andy going to keep working together there to try and build that gap. Maybe not, because he's thought about maybe a swing back there through the 90s. Be interesting to see what Carapoletti's up to further back there, because they are getting a little bit extra racy as well, just a little bit further back. Andy full lap lead under his belt. Chris thinking about swinging back. Andy goes low to defend, and no move. Carapoletti all the way down to P5 further back, as it looks to be Brant Estes and Ethan Bacano moving him 1 kart in the dirt further, even further back. I think that might have been Elliot Bacano coming out of I-70. Hopefully we'll get that checked in later, but a full reshuffle of what we saw in race number 1 here. Estes over Ethan Bacano. Ability, really bad exit there at a 16. That allowed both karts to move by there for 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Andy Kuchar and Chris Kuchar still 1 and 2. Here is just still similar to the first heat. This is the battle for 3rd through 5th, and it's basically the same drivers. Ethan Bocano, Scott Carapelletti, and then the 412 all... one car gets
Estes off into the
dirt.
grass. Able to gather it back up, but that immediately bunches this trio back together. Now they go bumper to bumper. Big wiggle there from the contact as Bocano gets into him. This could be big. Run out of 16 into I-70. 3 minutes on the clock. Estes leaves the door open. Goes middle of the track, though. Bocano had to work for it. He backs out of it. Now it's Carapelletti trying to find a way around for P4 to the dark fin. A little bit further back, you see Ken Simonellic as well trying to join the fray. Out 5.5 seconds back. These guys continue to try and shuffle. A rare make there from Brant Estes into the 90s is what gave Bocano this opportunity. And Ethan, that 427 trying to make a move. Tried it again there into the hairpin. Oh, big wiggle, locked the rears up. Sent it to the inside, knew he was going in way too deep, and had to stay out of trouble.
Man, they're racing for almost like they're racing for the win back here. We saw the, I think it was Brant Estes get off track again slightly, and that opened up the door for the 427 of Ethan Bocano, and he locked up those rears, as you mentioned, but they're still battling now as we click off one more lap here. Looks like they may make an attempt at a pass here down the front stretch.
Here comes Bocano into I-70. Estes giving him the room. No way to cross it up because he's got Caparelli just to the right of him. Now it'll be Bocano leading this trio. Good move there from the 427, and immediately right back to the bumper goes Estes. Checks him up just a little bit, coming out of the shark fin into scoreboard. And business as usual, bumper to bumper, 90 seconds left on the clock.
And we still have the Kuchar brothers, Andy and Chris, still up front, but really this battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th is what we were keeping on our eye on as these guys continue to battle it out every corner, every lap of this event here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. It looks like the 427 of Bocano is able to gap. You see him look behind him, see how much of a gap he has between 4th and 5th, but we'll see if it tightens back up, slings back together, and it looks like it does as we go through a lot of these tight in-course or infield sections, as I call them, as they now come back out onto straightaway and click off one more lap. They'll get the 2 laps to go next time around because we have 37 seconds to go, and they just started this lap.
Carapelletti.
Oh, no!
Oh, goes around nearly! Oh, what a save, Scott
save.
Carapelletti. Into the side pod of Estes there. Tried committing to that move all the way through I-70. Definitely no intention there from Estes.
Oh, no!
He locks the rears. This can only mean one thing. I think we've got more rain. There is no way he just locked the rears.
There's
up.
another
Look at this,
driver off.
426 off as well. Bocano. It's
Oh, my
Elliott. There's
goodness.
only the Scott. It has had to have picked up rain again. That's the only thing I can imagine here. We've seen a handful of mistakes out of nowhere, and the Kuchars have really backed out of it. We saw going into this a very high chance of getting another quick burst of rain before we ended the day, and I think we're seeing that right now. Wow, handful of really rare mistakes there from a couple of drivers, and crucially no smoke when we saw that lockup from Scott. So, and you can
and
see
our
how
leader
much
just
Chris
went
is
off.
wresling it too. He
This
is
is to see
Tokyo
how low these
drifting.
lap times are going to be. They went 121 that time around. Their best is a 113, so definitely track is wet.
It has gotten damp once again
They
here
look like they're moving
at
at
Newcastle.
a snail's pace compared to what they were doing before. They are just tiptoeing it around this racetrack.
Absolutely. And for Chris Kuchar,
There's the radar.
is another opportunity. Just to the right of Indy is where we're at underneath Muncie. So only actually kind of fitting here that another cell has just hit us. Again, literally right next to I-70 there. So again, that secondary cell has indeed hit us. But the timer's hit 0, 2 laps to go on the clock. And look at the slide there from Andy as Chris continues to pedal. He doesn't want to overdrive himself. He doesn't want to end up like his brother in the grass. But man, when you come racing in the Midwest and the weather's unpredictable like that, that's the way things can kind of get you by surprise. Just how quickly the track can get wet, the grip can go away, your race can go sideways in just a heartbeat.
And here's the thing for those watching at home and looking at the radar and looking at the racetrack, and you're saying the track doesn't look wet, but it just needs a little bit of moisture, or being told it's sprinkling. But that's all you need to change the grip on this racetrack, especially with these race tires that they have. It's like driving on ice sometimes with just a little bit of moisture. And we saw in a matter of one lap, we saw 3 drivers, as you mentioned, Jackson, that normally don't have issues. 3 went off. So we'll see if everyone's able to make it around this last lap cleanly. But wow, what a turn of events.
Mention it best there, Brett, when you're on these MG tires and there is not a lot of rubber. This NCMP racing surface, just a little bit of moisture is all it takes to make you feel like you are on ice. A little bit further back, Scott Carapolati making a move on Ethan Bacano. He swung back for P3. I just saw him go side by side a little bit further back in our picture. 427 dropping back to P4. Ken, the 436, gains a couple spots from those mistakes we saw. But for Andy Kuchar, just a couple more corners, and he is going to be able to even this series. It'll be an all Kuchar Saturday. They will split the difference here. Just needs a couple more corners. Looks like, fortunately, the rain starting to die down just a little bit once again. That is what we need, allegedly now, to bring the battle to the Kuchars. But for the time being, Andy is able to get vengeance on the fellow Kuchar. Will take victory in heat number 2 in a Mother Nature shuffled heat 2 here for KA Masters.
And just to give you an idea of how much off the pace they went, the white flag lap, they went 1:29, and then crossing the line that one time, they went 1 minute 24 seconds, but their best lap was 1 minute and 13. So they are more than 10 seconds off the pace due to that light shower that we had moved through. There's your finishing order.
We thought it was going to be a cool, calm, collected finish there with the Kuchars, but boy, Mother Nature had other plans for us. We'll see what she's got in store for us for the remainder of Heat 2. We've got IAME Micro and the Big Show, KA Senior, coming up from Newcastle. See that shake of the wheel from Kip now. So he's trying to get as much heat into those MGs as possible. He's got 7 minutes of intense racing at hand here to wrap up Saturday. James Fox right alongside will be giving him all he's got to try and get his first victory on the 2 strokes this afternoon. Remy Boss looked very strong as well. Try and bring the fight in the 288. He's alongside Miles Hill. TJ Aker, Jackson Stallone, Brett Blue, and Toby Blue with Wyatt Brolsman and Tom DeLong wrapping up your top 10 in your field here for IAME Macro. Kip Nouse looking like the one to beat again here, Brett.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to, you can see that they're trying to see how wet that track is. Again, I think that shower was light enough where these guys should be good, but you never know if another sprinkle could come in the middle of this race as well. But Kip, obviously the favorite, but we know that those other drivers definitely want to get him off the podium and hopefully get themselves a win to help set them up for racing tomorrow.
Everybody stacked up right before that green commitment cone as we head into the Indies. It actually looks like, ooh, that's Nathan Williams there in the 495 trying to mosey on in and is able to get that top cart right where he ought to be. But here we go, 7 minutes and 2 laps on the clock as we get ready to go. Last round of the day for IAME Micro, then a pre-final and final for these young guns tomorrow. Chapter 1 of their racing career, but the stars of the future are already out. We just got to get you the telescope. 7 minutes on the clock. Let's see if anyone can bring the fight to Kip and James. Let's go racing heat number 2 for IAME Micro. It's a really good start once again for Kip. Able to, just like heat 1, swing it wide and be fully clear of Nouse and Hale for the exit on I-70.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I saw in the start Kip was kind of laying back a little bit, but he caught back up, and I think he definitely made sure he had a good run going down in that first corner. And take a look at how he's able to gap that through this infield section already.
Boss looking to the inside there through scoreboard, not able to make it work. No pressure yet for Kip here as we work our way through the shark fin and through the 90-degree right-hander of turn 9 for the first time. Really good setup corner for this dive bomb here into the kink and the braking zone here. This very sharp, the sharpest corner on the track, the turn 11 hairpin, and this whole section, the tight and twisty switchback setup area of the track that we've learned to call the Switchback City, the Cell Tower. We've got a couple names for it. We've kind of settled on Cell Tower since, well, right on the other side of I-70 is the Cell Tower. So, good battling further back, though.
Canal's been able to gap himself for the rest of the... Oh, sorry. Canals was able to gap himself between second through fifth here, but what a strong kart he must have, able to get out to a over second lead within just 1 lap. As you can see, these guys in the back, that's Remy Boss, James Fox, TJ Akers, Miles Hale, able to are still battling it out back here, but also they are starting to get a little bit of a gap between themselves as well. Things starting to calm down for the moment, but it seems like every time we see things calm down in a heat, we'll have either Mother Nature come in or something crazy will happen. So they're calm for now, but we still got a long ways to go here in this event. Still 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go.
Certainly do. Certainly do. This is Miles Hale just behind there at 2:15. Top cart. Again, trying to get that forward momentum he wasn't able to necessarily have in heat number 1. Just ahead, Remy Boss up into P2. All these guys trying to pedal to get to Kip Nouse, but here's your best battle on track right now for P2. Definitely still a little bit of moisture on track. You can see just the slightest of slides there coming out of turn number 15 and into the 90s. As we look a little bit further back, Toby Blue, Jackson Sloan, Wyatt Brolsman, 5 kart freight train. We saw earlier on this battle raging on here into heat number 2. It's actually James Fox who ran into some issues. Not the first top kart on track right now. We've been so used to seeing him at the sharp end of the field. What on earth happened to James Fox?
Yeah, not sure. This is 5th through 9th on your screen right now. So he's leading this train of cars in 5th position. But not what we're used to seeing, especially how the beginning of the day went in the morning with him dominating in the other division. But you never know, again, how much moisture may still be out there. Maybe he's not liking how that kart is handling, given the current track conditions. But he's at least been able to hold off this pack of about 4 cars behind him for now. But if he does get past, it goes all the way to the back of this pack, that would put him in 9th place, which is not what we were expecting when this heat started.
Not at all. MPG top kart and then the 299 of Rep Blue trying to find a way through as we work our way into the 90s here, turn 15. Blue gonna try and launch off an exit there to make that move on the MPG Kart Republic. Not able to get there. Got the 221. Mike Brolsman just behind there waiting in the wings to make a move as well. But for everybody right now from P5 back, they're getting a great opportunity to follow one of the fastest guys in this age group on track all day long. Of course, looks like Miles Hale has other plans inside and will fully clear him for P4 here at I-70. Looks like a couple more trying to go with him. Brolsman wanted to make that spot, as it looks like one of the Blues drops a little bit further back. Red down to P8 now. Good scuffle on track here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, this is the best battle that we have on track. And again, surprised to see James Fox continuing to move back. I think that now puts him in 6th position. So, and these drivers are off of the lead pack by over 11 seconds. So, not used to. I think he just lost another position there. So the handling maybe has gone away on James Fox's machine in the 212.
Could be the case.
Speaking of battles, though,
further up, battle for P3 here as or P2 as Remy Boss trucks it up the inside, tries to get that position back from the magic of TJ Akers. He's got it, but Akers gonna have a good run here. Immediately sends it to the inside. No fight from the orange machine of Remy Boss into I-70. That'll stay the same as it was. That shuffle further back, though. Brolsman up into P6. But crucially here for Akers in the magic. Oh, big slide there through shark fin. Think oversped it a little bit. Trusted in the grip, but forgot there was maybe a little bit too much moisture down there at the apex. And nearly went into the grass there coming out of turn 4. Akers able to keep going, though, and trying to build that gap on Remy Boss just behind. Slowly but surely, you've got Miles Hale as well trying to chip away at that gap. Make this a 3-kart battle for the podium.
And you saw there briefly, Kip can now slash by. He has about a 2.5 second lead. So you're not missing anything up front. Again, this is the battle for 2nd position. Kip is in a league of his own, I guess you would say, at this portion of the race. But here is the battle for 2nd that rages on between Remy Boss and TJ Akers. Akers is in 2nd, Boss is in 3rd. He wants to get that 2nd place position back, and then slowly creeping out in 4th position. That's Miles Hale. He would love to see these two drivers dice it up here on the front straightaway, maybe pull him into this battle for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position.
120.969 from Kip, now nearly a full second improved from TJ Akers and Remy Boss. 1, Kip's dialed in. 2, this racetrack is still very much evolving right now from that little bit of downpour we had earlier on as grip starts to come back into the racetrack. And these kids really are the first ones out to really clear up that racing line once again, lay some rubber down, do everything they can to try and open things up for the later classes, involuntarily, obviously. But they got to do a lot of mad science on the fly right now, figure out where the kart's fast, where it's not, and on a very, very green racetrack, where they can find pace, where they can find the grip. Still an experiment that's ongoing right now for Akers, as he's trying to build that gap on the 288. Remy Boss, gap between both of them and Hale about 2nd even right now Remy doesn't need too much more. I'd say a tenth or two, and he'll certainly be within the range of the draft. And these two are going to help bring him into the conversation as well. Through the 90s, Boss all over the rear bumper here. Coming out of turn number 16. Twin sticks out this time by now 4 seconds. Clear of this battle you're seeing right now for P2. TJ Akers, Remy Boss. A little bit further back, Miles Hale. But Boss just still looking for that spot he can slip on through for second.
You were talking about, you know, they're trying to rubber up this track for the other divisions, or they will put rubber on the track, but we've seen all conditions this afternoon. I mean, we started on a dry track, the sun came out briefly, then we had that brief shower, and now here we are with it drying out a little bit again. Now, it didn't get wet where it changed colors, but really Mother Nature throwing a little bit of everything at these drivers in the afternoon. As you can see, further back, here's that continued battle. This is back for 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, I believe. They're still diced up, but this is well behind our leader. This is 25 to 26 seconds behind the leader. So you can see, or you can tell just by those numbers, just how spread out this field is the longer we're going on into this event, as I believe Kip Knaus is about to go around the final corner and get oh my goodness.
Oh, trouble!
I'm sorry, look at that. Wow. I don't know if he didn't
contact
expect
Red
that's
Blue
the
going around.
299 of Red Blue, I believe.
And yeah, that rear axle fully locked up. So white flag.
Break at that point.
Here we go. Look to the inside. TJ Akers trying to make that move, but Remy Boss gets that position. The Orange Dream Machine gets his way up into P2. Magic Man gonna try and swing back. This has been a very good battle, flag to flag. But again, it's been costly. You see Hale just coming into view now with that top cart. Waiting in the wings, ready to pick up the scraps of any driver going off, making a mistake as a result. Getting on the podium, gathering as much points possible for the pre-final tomorrow. Over the hill and into Cell Tower for the first time. Big chuck to the inside there. Akers trying to make that stick. Loses all that momentum on exit. That'll let Boss launch out. Good move though, as Hale is indeed in the mix. Is he going to be able to potentially make a move at the buzzer? Not sure, but out in front, Kip Knaus. A lot less of a flair for the dramatic than heat number 1 will put. Nearly 5 seconds on the field and take victory here in heat number 2. Further back, it is indeed going to be Remy Boss over Akers. Hale was able to join the conversation, not make a move. He'll settle for P4.
And back to that incident with Red Blue, he dropped to 10th position, and I don't know, Jackson, if you saw what I saw, but he had said heavy damage on the front end, but I don't know if he wasn't expecting the driver in front of him to brake early, but that was a bizarre incident we saw there with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, might have been contact, and else we didn't see, but definitely looked like that bumper was pressed down, at least just a little bit. Jackson Sloan might have gotten involved with that. We saw Wyatt Barrelsman in that battle as well. Apex Race Control going to take a look and get that figured out before we go for the pre-finals tomorrow. Step aside for just a moment. When we return, it's the big one. KA Senior ready to go racing.
Gee, looks like we're missing the engine. What the hell am I supposed to tap?
What do you mean? It's my Greyhound. It's all I need.
Where's the rest of it?
It doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
You gotta make weight. Okay, you're good.
I'm sitting by here with Kyle, our race winner. Tell me how you did it. You were blazing fast out there, and I mean, you don't even have a go-kart, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, you know, Norberg, Schmorberg, the Greyhound-powered Greyhound was great today. You know, it makes the difference. And the team's been working really hard back at the shop, and, you know, just shout out Greyhound.
Thank you, Kyle. How the f did you just win?
Doesn't matter. It's a Greyhound.
Are you stuck with your kart racing? Not sure the ideal kart setup? Or going to a track for the first time? Well, Kart Class has the answers for you. Our online portal has a wealth of experience and knowledge to help your kart racing. From kart setup advice to track guides that are targeted specifically to your circuit, or the driver coaching aspect with mindset, racecraft and driving techniques. If you want to take your karting to the next level, visit us at kartclass.com.
Well, here we go. Heat number 2 for KA100 Senior. Isaac Melkett running away with it. In heat number 1, he's on pole for heat 2. Mick Gabriel alongside him. Dropped back significantly after the start. Tried crawling back seemingly an infinite amount of times, but just could not make it stick for P2. Wrigley Keys, outside of the top 10, got swamped at the start. Aiden Lorenko at GFC is in 4th. Then you got Chris McKeith and Ian Quinn, Landon Buer, Eli Warren, with Wyatt Leslie and Adam Maxwell rounding out your top 10. And the question, Brett, does anyone have anything for Ike in the 970?
Yeah, he was the one to beat in our first heat, but I mean, this is brand new. Track may be different, and we also have, 20 karts or more on the racetrack. So this is one of those divisions that, again, watch those first few corners, because one mistake could spell disaster for any of these drivers in the field, especially if it's coming from one of these first 2 rows. We saw that earlier on this morning. And you can see we have about 27 karts on track, so they're all going to be barreling down into turn 1 and 2. They do not want to get in someone else's mess.
Watch Eli Warren further back as well. Looked very strong in heat number 1. Punches off just outside the top 10. But you've got 26 of the best in the Midwest when it comes to karting here. Looking to stake their name in Apex Racing glory. Can anyone bring the fight to Melkett? Who's going to be on pole for the pre-final? Let's find out. Let's go racing in heat number 2 for KA Senior. Not as much help from Melkett on the inside there. He's actually tried chopping him on the inside there through I-70 for the first time. As we work our way out into the shark fin for the first time, Wrigley Keys gets to hold on to that P2 spot. Through shark fin for the first time. Trouble further back. Lorenko and McKeithen dropping back as Quinn, Buer, and Warren making a handful of moves at the start. It looks to be, I believe, Gabriel still in 3rd, with Keys and Lorenko just giving chase. And no big move there. Mick Gabriel able to get P2 back.
Other than a few tires off, I think that was the cleanest start that we've seen all day with this amount of karts on the racetrack. So that avoid all these drivers out there able to snake their way through those first couple corners without any major issues. As you can see, they're starting to get into their single file stretched out formation, trying to get settled in, because they still have a long way to go here. We just got started, haven't even completed a lap yet, and they are still a little bit of issues for the 997. They're a little bit off in the dirt. That is Eli Warren. Looks like he's going to lose a few positions.
Immediately, Mick Gabriel. Vast difference. Oh, as Quinn goes off there. Wrigley Keys trying to get back by for P3. But Mick Gabriel just behind here, the 934. He is locked in, trying to get back to the leader. And now Quinn trying to fend off from everybody further back. They are stacking up behind P3 on track right now. Wrigley Keys, Lorenko, McKeithen, Warren, Buer, Ianello, all the way back, maybe to Wyatt Leslie and Adam Maxwell. These guys need to work together. They want to get to the duo out in front. And the guy who was fastest, best of the rest to get to the bottom step of the podium is going to be the guy trying to lead them there.
Yeah, you mentioned it, 2-car breakaway at the front. You can see there they are. They look like they are content on riding 1-2 behind each other. extending that gap possibly. So these drivers, as you mentioned, third on back to probably outside the top 10, really want to stay together and try to catch the lead duo here as we complete another lap. But they are covered up, as we've been saying all day.
Gabriel to the bumper of the 970. Ike not flinching under the pressure. McKeithen further back, trying to make a move on Wrigley Keys. They'll still go side by side. Now he backs out of it and slots in for P6, I believe. Out of the shark fin once again. Now a little bit of a breakaway. Quinn giving the tow in Lourenco. And just like heat number 1, trying to make it a 2x2 potentially for the lead. McKeithen with the breakaway did get ahead of Wrigley Keys. Now he's trying to pedal to get into the mix as well. But for Mick Gabriel, again, at what point do you actually try and put pressure on for the lead? And how much of this is just, again, pushing the 970 and trying to build that gap? It's a dangerous game after the data these guys have gotten from Heat 1. They know how scary Ike can be in clean air. He put nearly 3.5 seconds on the field in Heat 1. Mick still wants to stay in the tracks and build insurance, right? Take the lead without risking Quinn Lourenco Keys joining this fight. But the last thing he wants to do is let Malkit repeat what he did in Heat number 1. And he's doing it by activating that manual DRS, smashing that helmet against the steering wheel. Good run into I-70. Not making a move just yet. This is where maturity meets stone cold pace and consistency for Mick Gabriel.
Yeah, Mick Gabriel going into the purple that last lap by, fastest on the track with a 112.281. So clearly has the speed in that cart to take the lead. As you can see, here's the battle farther back as it looks like Ian Quinn has moved outside of the top 3, I believe.
Yep, Christopher McKeithen and Ian Lourenco getting through. That duo caught up originally to the Burrell in third place, and now they've both cycled through. Now it'll be that LN cart, Lando Norris machine of Lourenco in P3. Gonna try and make this an even bigger mothball for the lead. McKeithen has been playing very nice right now behind that OTK. I'm not sure how much longer he wants to be behind that 929. McKeithen, again, very, very skilled grassroots racer. We've seen him jump into the national level. It has just consistently grown year after year. For King of the Castle being here next week, this could be absolutely the momentum, the kick in the pants the man behind the wheel of the Coyote needs to get his first national win. 2 weeks for Stars King of the Castle right here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. That being said, about 90 seconds on the clock here before the twin sticks come out. It is still Malkit out in front, but Mick Gabriel all over the rear bumper, not trying to make a move just yet. We haven't seen any experimentation from that driver in P2. Still trying to build that gap. It's grown to now about just a hair over 2 seconds from second to third.
I think once Mick Gabriel sees that 2 laps to go signal, I think maybe that's when he'll start making his move. They're not going to see it this time by. They'll still have time on the clock. So they'll come by this time, have 3 to go, and then they'll have the 2 to go after that. I think that's when he'll start making some moves or attempting to make a move. But obviously, Isaac Malka is not going to make it easy on the second place driver making that pass. He could use those defensive lines if he begins to see a move being made. And as you mentioned, when they put that head down on the wheel, they're trying to get any extra speed they can down that long straightaway where the start-finish line is.
Ooh, bit of a nudge there. Ian Quinn into the bumper of Lourenco. Again, that could be a nonverbal of saying, guys, we got to get a move on here. I don't have a clock, but we know it's probably been around 7 minutes. When I see those twin sticks, right, things are coming out. I'm just going to go for whatever position I can on track. But you look at that delta on the left-hand side of your screen. That was 2.1 last time by, now up to 2.4. That gap is not closing. So for Mick Gabriel, he's exactly where he wants to be. But now the alarms start to sound for McKeith and Lourenco and Quinn as these guys start to have their mind adjust from teamwork to just evolving into a free-for-all for the lead. Timer hits 0. It'll be the twin sticks this time by. Isaac Malkit starts to go full military power here, building that gap a little bit through the 90s. This feels like a wider gap than we've seen pretty much all day long. But here we go. This is the opportunity Mick Gabriel has been trying to put himself in all day long. Good run into I-70, not where he wants to be just yet. He's able to stay in the bumper, though. Potentially a move for the lead coming out of shark fin, maybe into scoreboard.
Yeah, Mick Gabriel looks like he was strong down the straightaway. It looks like he's been able to close that back up on these tight corners, on these infield sections. So we'll see what he's able to do. Again, he now knows that there's only 2 laps to go. So if the time to make a pass, if there's ever the time to make the pass, he knows that now is the time. Time is quickly running out. Not close enough on that straightaway there. Looks like he's content with riding behind. He really wants to get a good run off of one of these corners. I thought it was going to be right there. We'll see where this run, if any, happens. I say, given what we've seen today, those last couple corners, I think if it's going to happen, that's where it's going to be.
We've seen drag races before coming out of turn 16 through the 90s. It's a great opportunity to set up a run. We've got one driver off, turn 11. So hard to get a number plate from that angle. We'll try and check in with that driver. But here we go, white flag. It's the one that matters in Heat 2 for KA Senior. Malkett trying to put it on pole for the pre-final tomorrow morning. Mick Gabriel pedaling with all his might to try and close that gap, take the lead away, and even the series going into Sunday. Is there anything that Mick Gabriel has for this wonder kid out in front of that Mike Doty racing machine?
Doesn't look like he's close enough yet, and he's going to have to get a heck of a run off these last couple corners here. They're about halfway through the track. If he wants any sniff on that lead or any chance at a win, we'll let you take the call home, Jackson, but I don't know if he's going to be close enough.
Looking good, coming out of the hairpin, right over the bumper here. One of the biggest names in KA Senior versus a kid in his rookie year, halfway through just a couple months ago. Moved up to KA Senior, trying to fend off from one of the best of the business. Gabriel going high. Number 14 tries to get the exit through the 90s. Only has a handful of corners, handful of opportunities to get it done. This could be the crossover that sets it up. No overlap. One more attempt through turn 16. Drag race to the line. Ike got Isaac Malkett getting it done. Will sweep on Saturday. He's on pole for the pre-final.
Mick Gabriel tried his all on those final corners as expected, but just didn't have enough to get past for that lead. But he tried so hard. He really tried to set Isaac Malkett up. But what a great race again for heat number 2 of the KA Senior Division.
Gonna be fun to watch for the pre-final and final coming up tomorrow morning. Christopher McKeithen does end up in P3, by the way. That Coyote Racing driver fending off a lot of very hungry drivers further back. Good drive as well for the fellow Coyote. Addison Iannello is up 5 positions there, trying to get herself up into P6. Wyatt Leslie just getting into the top 10 there as well. For K8 number 2, step aside and we'll go back to cadet action. IAME Mini coming up. Ready to go racing here for IAME Mini Heat number 2. Man, this was a fun battle. Hudson Howard versus Slate Harrell went all the way down to the line of drag race coming out of the final corner. They're your front row for Heat number 2. Evan Lation, the 107, and Anderson Hemphill just behind with Silas Johnson, Bo Laser. In row number 3, Light Simon Ellick, Ruben Greer. On row 4, Maddox Carlucci, Caden Taruno round out your top 10. Brett, this was a really fun one to watch, but what do we think Slate needs to do here to get the win?
I mean, Slate, it's a tall order, but I think he's going to want to, in a perfect world, he would want to get the lead right off the bat here on the start and then never look back. But that would be his best chance, I say, if he wants to get home this win. But easier said than done. Easy for me to say up here in the booth to just get the lead off the start there. But it was a heck of a battle in that first heat, so excited to see how Slate Harrell and the others are able to hash out this race. We have a long way to go, and we'll see what happens.
Watch that 107 MPG on the inside, because, man, inside of row 1 has also been a very good place to be in with that right-handed kink in the deep braking zone. Turns 1 and 2 for I-70. We are ready to go racing one more time here in IAME Mini. Howard, Leish on the front row. Harrell and Johnson further behind. Let's do it. Green flag is out. We're racing in IAME Mini. Howard going to keep it down low. Big send to the inside. The GFC of Johnson makes it 3 wide through I-70. Where does he come out? Further back in the grass, further back, one kart off. And a lot of momentum killed there for the MPGs. Slate Harrell dropping back to P4.
That's exactly the opposite of what you want to see if you're Slate Harrell off that start, because first of all, look at the lead now that Hudson Howard has, but look at the work that Slate Harrell has to do to catch back up. So that was the disastrous start if you wanted to try and get that lead off the bat.
Now it's Bo Laser trying to make that move for P4 on the inside. I think he was just able to slot in, and you can see that point of the helmet there for Harrell. Again, just trying to get any help he can now to get back to the front of the field. Laser had no plans of potentially giving him a hand there behind the wheel of the 181. A lot less drama for Anderson Hemphill as well. Didn't even talk about that. I think might have had engine problems on the outlap for heat number 1. Finds himself firmly planted in the mid-pack now for heat number 2. Is basically out of front row seat now for this battle. Right in front of him, Bo Laser, though, making that move through turn 15. Harrell tried swinging back there out of the final corner. Freight train in full effect here. Everybody trying to catch Hudson Howard. Now, Harrell looking to the inside, trying to get to the lead. Laser going with him. One of the new gen machines. I want to say Greer in the 120. Little bit of contact, nearly goes around there. Oh, one does go around. One of the Nash Motorsports machines. That might have been Carlucci, I think. I'm seeing blue. I'm not entirely sure which blue it is. No, that's Carlucci right there. I'm saying maybe Anderson Hemphill, who got tagged there as a result.
Yeah, that was that was some hard racing there as we saw the car spin out. All of that happening behind our leader, Hudson Howard, who's over half a second in the lead over second place Slate Harrell. Going back to that original start, I believe Slate Harrell or one of the other drivers went off because they were 3 wide going into corner number 3. As you can see, this battle in the back continues. They are still racing hard, despite what we saw just a few laps ago with the one kart spinning and going off of the racetrack. And we still have about over 4 minutes left in heat number 2 for our IAME mini class. We'll see how this battle shakes out here. I believe this is for the positions 5th through about 8th.
4 minutes on the clock here. Howard still your leader. Good battle, though, we're seeing here with Hemphill, Taruno, and it was indeed, I want to say, Light Seminelic in the 189 that got tagged in that incident a little bit further back. But again, just like we saw earlier, really good battle right now. Hudson Howard, Slate Harrell. The duel is back on right now for the lead. They are bumper to bumper right now. Working out of the cell tower into the 90s. Again, for Harrell, it's just the study session. Try and find a way by.
Slate's been able to run him back down because Hudson had over half a second lead this last lap. So Slate Harrell definitely has a speed in that car. Now, we ask this question with every heat. When do you make the pass? I think if you're Slate Harrell, you don't wait because you already have over 2 seconds, almost 3 seconds on the rest of the field.
.8 seconds the gap now, Howard to Harrell. As you see a little bit further back, another duel. Silas Johnson, Evan Leish. Working through the shark fin now. Little overdrive from Howard. Again, he's running out in front. He is no stranger to having a very fast driver right behind him on his bumper, breathing down his neck. Again, for him, this is kind of the most stress-free part. Knowing you've got a guy that is at the worst given, and at the very worst, it's just hit your marks, carry as much momentum as possible, keep it open on exit, then just occasionally check over the shoulder, see if someone's making a move. If not, just keep pedaling forward.
Yeah, this is exactly like a carbon copy of what we saw in that first heat. Hudson Howard, Slate Harrell getting a huge lead on the rest of the field. This is obviously going to be the battle for the finish unless something catastrophic were to happen, like, don't let me say it, maybe a little bit of rain or something. We're not expecting that to happen, hopefully. But these two drivers, obviously class of the field here on a Saturday. We'll see if anyone's able to make any adjustments and give them a challenge here on Sunday. But a minute 30 about left here. Still anyone's race when it comes to Slate or Hudson Howard.
A little bit further back, Evan Leish able to build that gap on Silas Johnson. This is Ruben Greer trying to go make that move on Silas to drop him another spot back. I was going to say that's a GFC. That's just black and white. I need to double check on what kart that actually is. I believe that's a new gen just behind, though. In the 120 is Ruben trying to make that move for P4. Here we go. Up the inside there.
Oh.
Done deal, and just behind you got Maddox Carlucci trying to make a move as well. It is getting spicy here in the mid.
Looks like things have calmed down for the moment as we continue to watch this battle. This is 6th and 5th place, 4th, 5th, and 6th on the track right now. Slate Harrell, Hudson Howard continued to be the duo up front, but you're not missing anything up there. Slate Harrell continues to be in the 2nd position, but here we go again for this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
3 wide over the hill. Carlucci split right now. United tries to stay with them. And somehow, someway, Ruben Greer remains the meat of this sandwich. And just behind you see Taruno start to join the fray. A little bit further back. What a battle we've been treated to here in the mid-pack. And the best part, out in front, Slate Harrell, Hudson Howard, they are still bumper to bumper. And with the twin sticks coming out, only a matter of time before Slate starts to go to work.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, when Slate Harrell sees those 2 laps to go, fingers up in the air, he knows that's when it's the time to go. And obviously he has the speed, as I mentioned. He went from over half a second behind Hudson Howard, was able to get right on his bumper. So we're going to see how it all shakes out. Just 2 laps to go in heat number 2.
Battle raging on here in the mid-pack. Carlucci up 3 positions from that lap. But for Hudson Howard and Slate Harrell, it is go time. You can already see Harrell trying here. We'll look to the outside, now the inside, trying to cross over. But Howard doing a good job of forcing him to go the long way around on exit of nearly every corner. That might not be a problem for Slate. Try to get him the cross-up coming out of the scoreboard. He has his hand up there. I'm not sure if that was in frustration or not. Look at this, Slate Harrell arcing it wide. back up over the hill. Another great opportunity right here. What Slate wants to do, though, is give Hudson an opportunity to overtake. You want to shut the door and make sure it's locked, not give that opportunity for Hudson Howard to swing back and take that lead back when it's too late. Slate might be saving something for the final lap here.
Yeah, and if Slate Harrell gets around Hudson Howard, Hudson's not going to make it easy. He's not going to just pull over for him. He's going to take every defensive line, every defensive move he can make, because we're coming to just one lap to go, and Hudson Howard would be one lap away from double wins in the heats. You can see there's that defensive line I was talking about down low, down the front straightaway.
It's the lap that counts here at Newcastle. Final heat of the day for IAME Mini. Harrell trying to get the momentum on the crossover, but again, Hudson trying to force him wide there on exit. Not able to get there just yet. What a battle, though. Slate has just been able to go side pod to side pod. He finally has ahead. He'll get the position just for the time being. Howard gonna try crossing him up on exit. Osmo's fully ahead. A little bit of a ramp up there. They made contact going back up over the hill. What a battle here in IAME Mini to get our day wrapped up, and somehow it's the Wonder Kid. Hudson Howard still staying out in front. Further back, Leish just pedaling away. He's loving this battle right in front. He would love to be a part of the action. And if these two continue to battle, he could very much make this a 3-kart battle. Bruce Seltower for the final time. Slate Harrell gonna try and do everything he can to roll this speed out of 11 and into the 90s. Last overtaking opportunity gonna be right here. We haven't seen it work just yet, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. Watch that red MPG machine out of 15 and into turn 16. One final opportunity for Slate Harrell. Howard doing a phenomenal job for blocking. Phenomenal driving from both drivers, but ultimately Hudson Howard comes out on top to sweep the day in IAME Mini.
What a great crossover move that was by Hudson Howard. He let Slate Harrell go, didn't panic, didn't overdrive the corner, let him go, and then just went down to his inside on the very next corner, was able to get the lead back and ultimately get that win. What a great job driving behind the wheel for Hudson Howard.
Good stuff. That's going to be a fun one to watch for the pre-final and final tomorrow. We are at our last event here on Saturday here at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Heat number 2 for KA Jr. When we return, time to pay the bills here at NCMP.
Are you looking to take the next step in your racing journey? Well, look no further than PitFit.
With 2 locations in Charlotte, North Carolina and Indianapolis, Indiana, PitFit trains drivers all the way from grassroots level karting to IndyCar and NASCAR, with top-of-the-line personalized coaching to improve physical and cognitive fitness.
For more information on programs, check out PitFit on Instagram or Facebook today.
Hey guys, I'm Chris G. I'm Kart Chaser's driver fitness coach, and today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row, what you are doing. And today I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen your shoulders for more endurance and better stability in the kart. Here we go. Okay, so exercise number 1 is the front rope pull-through cable raises. Okay, now this is the upright cable row. What you are doing here is you're picking a straight bar, as you see, and we're working the side areas of our shoulders, the medial. Exercise number 3, the dumbbell shrugs. As you guys can tell, I like to pause at the top before releasing. It's great for your strength, for that wheel stability. It's great for those shoulders and that upper back area. Chris G coaching, race-ready training that carries into real life. That's what we do here. See you.
Ready to go one more time here from Saturday at Newcastle Motorsports Park. It's round number 1. Fourth race of the year here for Apex, the lid lifter for the Midwest Division. And it's heat number 2 on track for K.A. Jr. Cam Johnson flag to flag in heat 1 is on pole. Ben Gloverman alongside him. Darren Kidd and Easton Kabinski in row number 2. Chris Utzi and Dom Gaddis on row 3. Jacob Scheibel, Alex Kuchar, Caleb Burschoffer, and Ezekiel Height round out your top 10. Arguably our best race of the day, heat number 1. Brett, we'll see if we can continue that action here into heat 2.
Yeah, we've seen some. I mean, the last heat that we just saw from the minis, I believe it was, they had a great race as well. So we've been seeing some great racing all day here. This is the last race of the day, so we'll see as they're about to take the green flag.
It was a fast outlap. Cam Johnson wanted us out of here in a hurry, but he's gotten to the punch-off cones, and we are green for the final time here Saturday. Very racy further back, as a kid really wanted to make a move there. Down low.
No,
big stack up. First real big stack up we've seen further back. Seeing the 820, that is Kabinski, Gaddis, and one other kart involved. The first real carnage we've seen. I got to push back a little bit further back as well. I think Dragunov may be getting a piece of it, but big chaos to get us started there in I-70.
Yeah, I believe I saw a couple of drivers try to dive it down 3 wide, and it can work sometimes, but it's difficult. So at that point, I don't think it worked. But meanwhile, Cameron Johnson out to his lead, and then we have the Darren Kidd in third, Ben Kleberman in second. Kind of same thing that we saw with the previous race. Cameron able to just kind of find a rhythm and trying to set sail. You saw him leading forward there, literally trying to set sail here early on in this heat.
Watch Utzi in that red Burrell art machine just a tad further back as he tries to get into this now 3-kart battle. Good run for Gaddis. Or excuse me, that's a Scheibel exit there in the new gen further back, trying to make a move for P4 on Gleberman. Will try and go deep here into I-70, and that is a done deal. Actually, Stoner going up into P5, excuse me. The new gen in what is essentially their home race. Whiteland-based team making some big moves, gonna carry some hardware back home at the tail end of this weekend. As we've got just a hair over 5 minutes on the clock. This is the 878 of Kuchar, who has recovered greatly since that opening drama on lap 1, but he's got plenty of karts ahead and needs to find at least a couple to work with if he wants any hope of getting back on the podium.
You mentioned briefly AJ Stoner. He's in 6, up 5 positions, so I think he was able to take advantage of that calamity that we saw in the first couple of corners that took out several of our drivers. As things have calmed down for now, as they are single file, Cameron Johnson continues to lead, almost out to a half a second lead, but it looks like the drivers in 2nd through 4th are trying to get into a line and catch them, and then they're closely followed by that group that you see there, led by AJ Stoner, who is able to get up to the 5th position, and they're going to try and catch that group that you see in front of them. They definitely have a chance to catch that lead group and be in contention for this win.
Definitely possible for these guys to snowball. This is going to hurt. Man, that's a big send. I believe that was the 821 of Scheibel with a biblical pass there into the shark fin, trying to make that move stick. As of right now, call it a quartet. Cam Johnson, Darren Kidd, Chris Utzi, and Ben Gleberman just went purple last time by in that 863 P4 on track, as that Ryan Perry Motorsports driver gives the bumper to Utzi, trying to push his way into the fray as well. And again, you just see that gap start to build little by little for Cam Johnson. It's not big right now. I mean, the minute you try and see a pass for 2nd or 3rd, that is going to explode between 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, if you're Darren Kidd, or if I'm Darren Kidd, I'm saying stay in line with me. Let's try and catch the dominating performance of the 810 of Cameron Johnston. And so far, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Darren Kidd, Christopher Utzi, and Ben Gleberman have been able to stay in line. But I don't know if they've been able to even catch up to Cameron Johnson with staying in line. So they may need a little bit more help if they want to catch Cameron Johnson. Maybe a mistake by Cameron Johnson, but it looks like maybe they're tightening it up slightly here in this infield section.
About a second and a half separating Gleberman to Stoner. So that whole secondary train just coming into view there. Those guys really need to lock in and lock bumpers here if they want any hopes of this kind of avalanching into one giant melee for the win like we saw earlier on. It wasn't necessarily for the win, it was for P2 because, frankly, Cam Johnson, just like we saw with Isaac Malkit in the seniors, was just able to run away with it. And to this point, it looked like we were maybe going to have a bigger pack fighting for the lead right now, but Darren Kidd is starting to fade a little bit. Cam Johnson finally building that gap he's been hoping for. He's looking to sweep Saturday just like Malkit. Look at this gap here coming out of turn 16. Yep, another 10th there, so 0.45 from Johnson to Kidd. And all of a sudden, Yutzi and company running out of patience. Chris looking to the inside of I-70 and will immediately shut the door on him. Chris Yutzi in the 833 up into P2.
It looks to me almost like Cameron Johnson, not that he's weak in the beginning of the course, but I think the second half of the course is really his strong suit, because that's where he was able to get his lead or extend his lead. And now I'm going to be interested to see, now that Darren Kidd has been shuffled back to 4th, but Christopher Yutzi and Ben Gleberman, if they're able to get together and try and close that gap up to Cameron Johnson.
We'll have to see, kind of split into hard to figure out what to call it right now. You've only got two guys that are really bumper to bumper, and now crucially it's Chris Yautzi's turn to try and close that gap to Cam Johnson. But simply put, the kid has been uncatchable all Saturday long, whether it was in warm-up, whether it was in qualifying. And again, that massive melee from second on back certainly didn't help. Raw pace, what we're seeing on track right now, that Nash Motorsports 810 is looking damn near untouchable. Minute to go here before the twin sticks come out, and we take a peek a little bit further back now. That is a new era and definitely one of the MDR machines. That is Kushner, Stoner, and Scheibel right now, 6th back to 8th. Another group again trying to work their way into contention.
Yeah, Stoner was in the top 5 at one point, but it looks like he's dropped back to 7. He was making a charge through the field, still up 4 positions, but he was up as many as, I believe, 6 or 7. So maybe the handling going away on that cart, but he needs some assistance. All those drivers need some assistance if they want to catch some of these carts that are up in the lead. As you mentioned, kind of hard to describe, but it looks like they're getting a lot of them spread out across the track here. No big packs, no lines of cars working together, just kind of 2 and 3 carts working together as we continue to click the laps away. I believe we're going to get the 2 laps to go when they come by the line this time.
Sorry, clear frustration right now from Kuchar. It looked like, or Stoner to Kuchar, because he was defending like nobody's business, trying to cover dives, and all he wants to do is catch these 3 right now. And the patience has run out for Gleberman. Looking to the inside of I-70. Yautzi tried bringing him to the paint, wasn't able to do so. And again, door fully shut. This trio continues to reshuffle with just a little bit further back. Height and Kuchar trying to get there as well. Matter of fact, it's just the 884 there of Zeke Height, who actually went purple last time, who now makes this a quartet from second on back. Timers hit 0, twin sticks coming out this time by. And just like we saw in Heat 1, the race leader running away, it's the battle for the best of the rest.
Yeah, Cameron Johnson's checked out over a second lead. As you can see, this battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth has really heated up. They're jockeying for position. They know their chances for the win probably out the window, so why not battle for second position? As you can see, it looks like it's gotten sorted out slightly as they, I believe, are going to come around these final couple corners and get the white flag this time by.
Gleberman middle of the track there through the 90s, trying to cover the dive from Darren Kidd. And just behind him, Zeke all over the bumper. Everybody going down to the paint, being sent by Chris Yutzi. White flag is out.
Oh,
Gleberman with a run. Little bit of grass clipped. Yutzi going around across the infield. He just cut way too much of the infield, and that cart almost lawn darted into the infield, but just took way too much of a shortcut there. And Chris Yutzi doing everything he could to try and defend. Means that it'll be Gleberman now in that RPM promoted to P2. Kidd and Height trying to make some kind of magic here in the closing laps. I cannot believe that happened. A rare mistake from Yutzi brings him all the way back to the tail end of the field. Now it's the Mike Doty machine. A little bit further back right now. Verkoffer just on the bumper of the top 10. Unbelievable scenes here. But out of the final handful of corners, it is Cam Johnson who is going to go back-to-back, working his way into the 90s, has been simply put untouchable. And even on single lap pace coming out of the last two 90s, he has firmly placed himself on pole position. He'll start first for the pre-final. Tomorrow morning, he's your winner in Heat 2.
What a strong performance by Cameron Johnson, able to not only get the lead, but extend the lead throughout the race. Able almost 2 seconds of a lead coming to the line that time. But back to that issue we saw in the final lap, it's almost like they saw that white flag, they knew the wick was turning up. We talked about it all day though. The grass is not your friend on a good day. On a day like today when it's wet, you definitely don't want to clip that grass. It immediately sent Christopher Yutzi spinning into the infield.
AJ Stoner able to actually make that move on Kutcher, and the new gen kid gets up to P5. That 6 positions gained for him. Zeke Height, 7 spots gained there to get on the bottom step of the podium. But man, Brett Baldeck, day full of action. You fancy some more tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, what we saw like 2 days of action today because we had wet track this morning, dry track this afternoon. I think all these teams are going to be looking at that weather forecast tomorrow morning to see what kind of track conditions they're going to have to deal with first thing in the morning and into the afternoon as well.
Back to it bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. local for warm-up. We'll be with you once again, flag-to-flag coverage right here on Kart Chaser. Time now, though, to shut the monitors off, take touch and knee here as this hard-working KC crew and Apex Karting Championship crew get ready for a day full of action once again here tomorrow morning at Newcastle Motorsports Park. We thank you as always for tuning in, and a triple header weekend for us here at Kart Chaser. As always, for finding us in this cool little corner of the internet where we can talk about karts. Carson Clements produces it. Trev Blue directs it. Case and Fry, Gabe Romo on the cameras. Alongside Brett Baldick, I'm Jackson Lambros, reminding you one more time to join us bright and early, 8 a.m. tomorrow. It's time to hand out some trophies Sunday here at Newcastle Motorsports Park.
This broadcast is the sole property of Kart Chaser Group, LLC. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the images, audio, or accounts of this event, in whole or in part, without the expressed written consent of Kart Chaser Group, LLC is strictly prohibited. Thanks for watching.